Good morning and welcome to the second broadcast of the Panther Preview. I'm your host, Austin Downey. Once again, we will be taking an in-depth look at Knightstown athletics. Each episode we will highlight specific Panther or Lady Panther sports teams. Today's focus will be the basketball program, both boys and girls. In today's show, we will be talking with Knightstown girls basketball coach John Boyer, boys basketball coach Bob Allen, along with Panthers Lacey Thomas, Brooke Feiss, Jackson Edwards, and Drake Peggs. So first on the show will be both girls basketball coach John Boyer and boys coach Bob Allen. Coach Boyer, let's start with you. You recently wrapped up your season 2 weeks ago. Can you give me kind of an overview of how you felt the season went?
Yeah, the season I thought overall was very successful. We had 14 wins. Anytime you have double-digit wins, single-digit losses, it's a good year. Ended on a note or a little early that we wanted, but very proud of the girls from where we started to where we finished. Some girls kind of joked with me at the end of the year. I said, well, what did you guys expect this year would be? And they said they thought it would be a rough year. Everyone kept saying it's going to be rebuilding and whatnot, and here we are with a winning year, 14 wins. So overall, really good year.
So that kind of brings us into our next question here. You were in your first season at the helm of the Lady Panthers. So how do you feel the season progressed once you got your system in, and did you find it a little difficult at the start?
Absolutely. Matter of fact, I didn't have a summer with them, so I was kind of guessing on what we had player-wise, just watching some of the film from previous years, what they were comfortable doing. I tried to not change things totally. My system is more of what can my players do. So I try to build things around what they can do. And long story short, I guess wrong that first weekend. I put us in a defense that they weren't particularly good at or seasoned with. So after that first weekend and getting beat pretty handily by two teams, we changed some things up, and then we win 7 out of the next 8. So so progressed really well. Difficult start, but progressed well, and then of course winning 14 games is a positive.
Shining example of live and learn, right?
That's exactly right.
So Coach Allen, you're hitting the final phases of the season. With sectionals right around the corner, how, in your opinion, has the season gone for you so far?
Well, like every season goes, we had a couple games that we lost, we dropped, and we feel like we gave away. But based on what we have coming back, we have a strong junior class along with some seniors who have some experience. When they were freshmen, they won 7 games. Last year, they won the conference and had 12 wins, and this year we're already at 14 wins with a great opportunity to get to 15. Minus the ups and downs we've had, we're playing great basketball right now at the right time. So we're really looking forward to sectionals getting started here.
So your sectional is one of the toughest record-wise in the state. How do you prepare your players for an environment like they'll see?
Well, the good thing about our sectional is, we get to play everyone, or at least in the gym that we're going to be at, before the tournament starts. And we tell our guys every day in practice and at each game is to do your best to block out the crowd and block out what's going on around. We want to stick together in our little zone, our group of guys on the court with our group on the bench, and then, every day in practice we've tried to put them in a situation where, they're going to be tested, because that's going to happen. We don't want any surprises to come that first round game when the tip happens. But again, our guys are playing well. They're experienced. They've been in this position before. They know what to expect. It's going to be a great atmosphere, great crowd, and I think, they're ready to play tonight. They're ready to go.
So this question now is for both of you, and we'll start with you first. If you had to highlight your top 2 moments so far, what do you think they'd be?
The first one for me was our 3rd game of the year against Northeastern. It wasn't really a marquee opponent. It was a sectional opponent, but we ended up winning, and that's where that was my first victory as a girls varsity coach. But that also showed us that we could win. And that I changed it to the correct system of what we needed to do. And then the other was like a 2-game stretch. One was on the road at Hauser, and the very next game home against our arch rival Eastern. And I consider those 50-50 games. We could have lost either one, and we pulled both of them out. They were close games, and we pulled them both out, and I thought that was kind of the defining moment of our seasons, and those are the 2 that really stand out to me.
Coach Allen, what are your 2 top defining moments?
Well, at the beginning of every season, you set goals, and you want to accomplish those goals. And last season, we won a conference championship, and obviously we want to repeat that this year. And some things happen where that won't work out this year. But we had another tournament we played in, the Henry County tournament, and we won that this year. We defeated a good try team, and we had a battle against Shenandoah where we ended up having a couple guys foul out that play a lot of minutes for us, and we had some other guys step up. We brought that home for the first time in 3 years with this group, so we were excited to win a county championship. And then actually just last week, we were going through one of those inconsistent periods on the court. We weren't playing our best basketball, and we had a home game against Southwestern Shelbyville. And we had a decent lead going into the fourth quarter, and we gave it away. And they actually hit a three-point shot to tie the game with 14 seconds left, so we call our timeout. We set up our play, and things always don't go to plan. But we had some kids step up in the heat of the moment and make big-time plays that maybe we didn't draw it up that way. And it turned out where Drake Peggs made a great move to the paint. He kicked it to senior Zach Manley, who hit a shot at the buzzer. And it kind of put us on the win streak that we're on right now, moving into sectional. But those are two big-time moments that stick out for this team.
So once again, for a question for both of you here, and Coach Boyer, we'll start with you. What challenges do you feel there are specifically with the basketball season?
The biggest challenge that I've run into is you only have limited time to practice, limited time to get things in. You got to balance that time with, for me, the girls' schedules of, other things, school, all that, definitely academics. So balancing that time where you want to get everything in, make sure they're prepared as they can be, and still give them plenty of time away from basketball. That's probably the most difficult thing. You just got to find that balance, and luckily this year we did a pretty good job with that.
Coach Allen?
It's a long season. I mean, you're looking at 4 to 5 months where some guys are coming off football. They might be banged up a little bit. And then obviously the winter, the cold, everyone gets frustrated with that, or missing school and practice being affected. And I think it's difficult keeping guys focused for that long period of time, especially when Christmas rolls around and they have 2.5 weeks off, 2 weeks off, and they have finals to get through. And I just think it's a grind. And I think at some point in the season, your team hits that wall, and then as a coach, you got to find a way to refresh them. And that's a challenge always. But again, I think we have great student athletes at Knightstown, and they've responded to the challenges that Coach and I have presented them.
Okay, so not to cut either season short, but I would like you to maybe go through and give the viewers a little info on what goes on in the off season for both boys and girls basketball. So we'll start with you, Coach Boyer.
This is a little different scenario for me. I'm used to coaching boys. I've coached boys for 10 years, so first year coaching girls in the off season here. But to be honest with you, we've already kind of started some off season workouts. I had a couple girls come up to me and say they want to get going. They're going to be seniors next year, so I really commend the effort and the drive. So I said, all right, if you want to get going. So we actually are doing these video set called Insanity. It's really difficult. So we're working on getting in shape and improving athleticism and whatnot, and then we dive into skill work as well. So a lot of off-season workouts, then summer stuff. You have your summer schedule. Try to play a lot of games and improve things there. Very intense, actually. We're going to spend a lot of time in the gym, and hopefully, it'll pay off dividends in the fall into the winter. So.
Coach Allen, what's the off-season like for the boys?
I agree with what Coach said. Another thing about our school and our kids is we're blessed with some kids we have some great athletes, and they play 2 or 3 sports. So we might have a football player come right into basketball and then go right into track, or a basketball player going right into baseball. So in some cases we don't have a lot of time with them when the season's over, but we have committed kids, and they find ways to get into the gym basketball-wise and still get up shots and put in their time. And again, this summer, the month of June is huge for us. We'll play 15 to 20 games as a group in June, and then we build off that, and we give them a little time off in July, and then we come back when school starts, and we get 2-3 days a weekend, whether it's the weight room or in the gym. And we even, Coach and I, work together. The boys and the girls will work out together because I think it makes both of them better.
Well, it keeps them from getting in kind of that rut.
Yeah,
absolutely.
All right, well, Coach Boyer, Coach Allen, thank you for taking your time and coming in today. Coming up after the break, we will be talking with 2 members of the Lady Panthers basketball team, Lacey Thomas and Brooke Weiss.
My 9-star security alarm scared off an intruder. residential alarm. 4 County Line Road. Please respond.
The cameras helped authorities arrest him.
Some criminals just target rural homes because of fewer neighbors and less light.
Call me at 9-Star Security.
It was the best decision I ever made.
Law enforcement highly recommends a security system.
Call 9-Star Security for under $1 a day.
Welcome back to the Panther Preview. We are now talking with two members of the Lady Panthers basketball team, Brooke Weiss and Lacey Thomas. Ladies, thanks for joining us this morning. Let's start from the beginning of the season. Now, not many people know what goes into the preparation with a new coach and system, but can you maybe walk us through the preseason workouts and trying to learn a new system and a new coach?
Yeah, we didn't have the summer to all get together, and we lost many players from last year. So we started in the fall, and having a new coach was a lot different. So basically in the fall we just learned to play with each other, and some players had to take on different roles with losing people. So, and then we basically just learned to adapt to a new coach.
So as the opening part of your schedule is difficult to open up with Hagerstown and Indian Creek, what challenges do you have with facing those two teams?
Those two teams are both well built. They have a good program too. So obviously one of the main challenges of the first two games are always just first game jitters. You always have to build your confidence throughout the season. So to go out there and not fully know how each player is going to play their own game, so you have to learn to connect together to have a good game together.
And is it difficult kind of getting out there and getting over those first game jitters?
It's very difficult.
It's really difficult.
Now, how long have you both been playing basketball?
I've played since freshman year.
Since freshman year, and you since freshman year too. But you still, I mean, even every time you step out on the court, first game of the season, obviously you're experiencing that real high type of adrenaline. You know, and then you went out on a stretch of winning 8 out of 9 during the middle part of the season. So what changed, or what can you attribute your success to? Why were you successful?
I think it's because we all adapted to each other, and we adapted to our new coach, so I think that all played together really well.
So has Coach Boyer made it easy for all of you guys to kind of adapt together and adapt to him?
Yeah, because I feel like it took us all a while to get used to everybody and get used to Boyer.
So one of the tournaments you ladies played in was Union City Invitational. What benefits do you see from playing in the 2-game and 1-day scenario?
With playing the 2 games, you have to learn to still have enough energy to continue to go on. Because, I mean, obviously in the first game, you're going to want to give it your all because you want to beat the team to continue on. So to have the energy for the next game as the same as the first one, you have to pull deep down inside to find what you have left to where you can still play your hardest for a team and not let anyone down.
Okay, and I don't want to divulge any secrets here, but do you guys have a strategy that you use to kind of keep from tapping out all your energy in the first game?
Well, we just keep rotating players, I guess, and if you have one player that's really going hard, maybe they'll take a smaller break and kind of catch their breath a little bit to where someone else will step up, and we just kind of rotate in and out.
So do either one of you girls have a specific highlight or a moment that really sticks out in your mind from this past season?
Mine would probably be the Hauser game, because I feel like as a team we played really well. And I mean, they're not like a rival, but we just all came together really well, and I think all of us played really hard that game.
Do you have a specific moment or a highlight that stands out in your mind?
For me, it'd probably be the biggest game against Eastern Hancock. I mean, we're major rivals against each other, so to go into that game and know that it's like we're both 50-50 teams, it can go either way. So where you have to go, give it your all, and then to come out with winning that game, it built our whole team's confidence level up another, so we can continue to power through and go on harder.
So obviously sectionals ended quicker than most of you had hoped or liked for that matter, but what can you take away from this year's sectionals to maybe help you next season?
I think that we learned that when it's not going your way, you still have to play hard and deal with what you're given, because Lacey and I have we've won sectionals the last 2 years, so we were used to going into sectionals and winning, and I feel like even losing the first game was harder than it would have been losing the second game, because we were expecting to do good and we felt like we could have done good. And so I feel like we just had to learned that when stuff was going bad, you had to power through and play good still.
Yeah, and that seems to be, I think when stuff starts going bad, athletes, especially out on the court or on the field, can kind of get into a rut of, okay, now what's the point of trying?
Yeah.
So how do both of you kind of overcome that, what's the point in trying?
I mean, you still want to win the game, so you don't want to completely give up. And you also don't want to let down your teammates, because they're all counting on everyone to keep going hard, because they're not going to quit themselves.
And there's seniors that you're like, I have to play for them because this could be their last game.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to a young girl who's thinking about playing basketball in high school? Let's start with you.
I would tell them that your confidence is a big key, because basketball is a lot of confidence. If you don't believe in yourself, then you're not going to get very far in basketball or any sport in that matter.
And do you have any specific advice you'd like to give?
I would just tell her that basketball is basically about confidence, like Brooke said. But just, work hard. You can work on just the basic things, and it will continue to grow as a basketball player, and you'll have the confidence what you need to be a good player.
So looking forward to the next year, what are your expectations for the 2015-2016 season?
For me, I just hope that our team will continue to grow together to where we come close and learn how to play like we normally know how to play, and continue for the basketball program to grow.
And your expectations?
I want a winning season, because we've both had winning seasons every year so far, and I don't want to go out with a losing season.
You guys ever have that one team, just that one during the year you're like, oh, we've got to play these people? You guys ever have that one that it just intimidates you? What team would that be?
Probably Eastern Hancock would be one.
Yeah, probably. I feel
Just
like our
major
team
rivals.
kind of, I don't know, I feel like we don't play to our best ability every time we play them.
Eastern.
Yeah.
And I think that's a long-standing rivalship between
Yeah,
Knightstown.
so
You
you
know,
wanna
because
win.
the football team has the same thing going on. So, all right, ladies. Well, that's all we have time for this segment. I'd like to thank both of you for taking your time and coming in this morning. After this break in segment 3, we will feature Panther basketball players Drake Peggs and Jackson Edwards.
Dude, I can't believe your parents let you crash your water away for the weekend.
What can I say? I'm just a responsible guy.
Hey, someone's at the door. Bet it's those girls I told you about.
What's up, late?
How you doing?
If you are caught drinking underage in Hancock County, you will be arrested. It's the law.
Welcome back. I'm now here with basketball teammates Drake Peggs and Jackson Edwards. Jackson, Drake, thank you for both being here today, taking the time out of your busy schedule. So the first question I have for both of you, when did you guys start playing basketball?
I think I started playing Optimist basketball in about kindergarten, when everyone starts playing, and it's not real basketball, but they just kind of let you go out there and travel and throw up shots. So I think real basketball was second grade when I started playing travel with Drake and a few other of my teammates right now.
Drake, when did you start playing?
And I can say pretty much the same thing. You know, me and Jackson have been playing together for as long as I can remember, you know, starting out kindergarten, first grade, then moving up to the travel league, you know, around second grade is when that all started.
All right, so let's take a look at your season. Walk us through it much like we did with, I'll walk us through it much like we did with the girls. So let's start with the preseason first. How do you prepare for this season? And do you do anything differently this off season than you did in your past off seasons?
I think this season we didn't do much differently than the past two seasons. I feel like we got in the gym a little bit more, and I was in the weight room more than the past two seasons, so I think that helped. And we played a lot in the summer. We got about 18 games in June, and it helped us get some chemistry before the season. So just getting time in the gym helps a lot.
Drake, would you say probably the same thing?
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think getting to the gym, you know, physically helping us out. You know, we're a much older group now. We're juniors and senior heavy, so like my past 2 years, we've been the smaller team, the less physical. We've had to change around that, but now we can bully people around a little bit. You know, a little more physical. You know,
Got to do what you got to do.
Hey,
right?
that's right.
Okay, so the beginning of the season is always tough. You guys started 2-2. What do you need to do in order to maybe better your record?
To better our record, I think we needed to, play more consistent. Those 2 games we lost, I believe that definitely could have been wins for us. But it happens every season. We didn't start out too great, but we needed to really come together as a team, play with a lot of team chemistry, be unselfish with the ball, and just be more consistent. And if you're not having a great night, you got to find someone else who is. Just accept your role and be more consistent.
You think that's a big help, like if you do get in the rut, is finding somebody who's always going to be
Right.
that positive energy to kind of help you push on through when it gets tough?
Right.
So you also hit a stretch where you won 6 out of 7 in the middle of the season. Basically the same question as earlier. What changed, if anything?
I think we were just on a roll. I think all 7 were away games, and we played in the county tournament and then a tournament in South Ripley. And we were a lot more consistent in the county tournament than South Ripley, but we got a couple good wins and played a good Christian Academy team. So that was our one loss. And I think we were just moving the ball well. We were hitting shots at that point in the season, and you get on rolls like that, so it was good.
And are those rolls easy to get off of?
Yeah, I'd say you have a bad game, it can kind of distort things a little bit. You think things aren't going well from one game, but it's off and on all season, so it happens.
So when the season set out, what types of goals, Jackson, we'll start with you, did you have for this team? And up to this point, did you think you've met those?
Well, we've met 2 out of the 3 goals I had. Last year we won the conference championship. We shared it with Indian Creek, and this year a couple of things happened. We dropped a couple of games that we probably shouldn't have, and that's a little bit out of the question now. But I definitely wanted to get to 15 games, and right now we're on pace to get a win tomorrow and hopefully achieve that. And we also won the county championship this year for the first time since I've been playing. So those are 2 goals that we definitely met.
All right, Drake, same question for you. What goals did you have for this team, and do you think you've met those so far?
Yeah, the main goal I had for this team was I really expected us to do well in the conference, but a few unfortunate games. We weren't on those nights, and it didn't go our way. And the county championship was the first that I've had here at Nicetown, and a big tournament for us to win, and that was really great. And furthermore, I would like to another goal that still to come, sectionals, obviously, a huge goal for us, and if we can compete with any team in our sectional, and I feel like we come out and play Nicetown basketball, we got a really good chance.
Okay, now you're kind of ushering me into my next question here. You guys are heading into sectionals, about to play the host school on their home floor, and I can imagine that presents some unique challenges. How do you guys really respond to those challenges?
Well, like Coach Allen said earlier, we're more experienced this year, so we're going to be used to it. We know what to expect going in there, and it's definitely a different atmosphere when you play the home team on their home court. But like we said, we just got to stay as a group and try to block out the crowd. So that's our main focus right now, is just to play our game, and hopefully we can get a win. I think we can compete with them, definitely. So
has that been something of an art form that you guys have really had to teach yourselves, is to block out the crowd?
Oh, definitely. And along with blocking out the crowd, when we're on away games and we're not doing that well, we have to create our own energy. No one in the crowd is really rooting for us. We have a lot of long drives, so we don't have many fans there. We just have to come together as a team and just create our own energy and play our basketball.
So what type of advice would you have for someone who is the age of elementary or middle school that is wanting to play basketball in high school? Drake, we'll start with you.
Yeah, the biggest thing I would say to them would be to commit to the game. Commit to coming to practice every day, commit to working your tail off every day, and compete with your other teammates. Compete with them as hard as you can, make them better, make yourself better, and in time that's going to make the whole team work together and play with more chemistry.
Jackson, what advice would you offer?
Well, yeah, you definitely got to balance it between school and basketball, so keep up your work in the classroom, but definitely commitment, like Drake said. You've got to be willing to come in early, maybe do things outside of practice that are going to help you excel. If you want to play well, you have to do extra things. So. And
I think that's a problem most young athletes run into. Yeah, I really want to play this sport, but no, I don't want to get up at 5 a.m. to go do it.
Right.
Yeah, so do you really want to do it?
Yeah. And how do you guys kind of overcome that? I know you guys wake up on days and you're like, I don't want to go do workouts today. And so how do you guys both kind of overcome that?
Well, it helps to get in a routine. So if you've been doing it day after day, you hit one of those rough days and you think, I've done it all week, I got to finish it out. So getting a routine helps, and just thinking about the benefits of doing it. So just you have a goal, and that's what you have to do to reach it. So
Drake, you think that's pretty solid?
Yes, I do. And what else helps me is, holding each other accountable. You know your teammates are relying on you to put in extra work and to play at your best. So holding each other accountable also, it's like, man, I gotta go do this for my teammates.
All right, so we'll end this just like we did with the girls segment. What do you guys envision for next season?
I think next season there's a lot of. It looks good for next year. We had a good season this year and it's still going, and hopefully we're playing for a couple more weeks here and get 15, 16 wins. So I think we can definitely do that next year as well. I'd like to win the conference next year and county. So the same goals we had for this year, they're always goals you want to get. So.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for coming in, taking your time this morning out of your busy schedules. All right, Panther fans, that's all we have time for today. I would like to thank all of our guests on today's show. Don't forget to continually check the athletic website, www.knightstownathletics.com, and the athletic Twitter page @CAB_athletics. More importantly, don't forget to come out and support the students, athletes striving to do their best. Thanks again to 9-Star Communications and Greenfield Central High School. I'm Austin Downey, and this has been the Panther Preview on 9-Star Channel 9. Until next time.